Right now at noon, a Carthage man pleads guilty in the murder of his wife from last year.
And for many of us, it may not seem like it right now, but clouds will be increasing across the area. We've got a lunar eclipse and we've got thunderstorm chances Friday. We're going to go over all that with you in the forecast coming up.
Plus, Neosho residents learn about the details of a proposition and its benefit to the community.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, a Carthage man pleads guilty in the murder of his wife in Kansas. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. Gavina McJunkins Macias has entered a guilty plea for murder in the second degree, unintentional but reckless, in the death of his wife, Kanaya Lopez, also of Carthage. Police found her body last June inside a camper trailer on the 600 block of North Main Street in Carthage. The investigation revealed a homicide had happened in Miami County, Kansas, and concluded in Carthage. His sentencing for second-degree murder in Kansas is next month. On the Missouri side, prosecutors charged him with abandonment of a corpse. That case is ongoing. Now let's head over to Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've still got those sunny skies right now. Temperatures warming up well above normal yesterday and the day before, and that's just kind of our trend. Not that that's a bad thing necessarily. Clear skies for now over downtown Pittsburgh. Same for the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Rangeline, looking back to the south. But back to the south, farther south, are where those clouds are, and they'll eventually begin to make their way up into our area. Yesterday started at 55, made it up to 82. Not quite a record, but pretty darn close and well above where our average high should be. We're already well above now. 70 in Joplin, 68 in Pittsburgh, and temperatures out there upper 60s and into the low 70s as we have that southwesterly breeze. Nothing too crazy, but still a light breeze bringing in even warmer air. We'll start to go mostly cloudy to just straight up cloudy, and that's how we'll go through the rest of this evening, down to low 60s by 11, with skies eventually beginning to clear overnight. We still could see an isolated storm or two this evening. We'll talk about that and the lunar eclipse and the Friday storm chances and the Friday wind here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a public open house was held in Miami last night for a controversial facility that would use chicken waste to produce a methane-based gas. Now, the proposed facility by Argo would bring thousands of tons of litter a year to create renewable natural gas, liquid fertilizer, and solid fertilizer. Following community concerns, Argo and the Miami Area Economic Development Service provided an overview of the project for the public. Details include project engineering, operating plans, permits, health and safety, and community benefits.
So that you can be better informed on what this project really is, and then make a decision whether or not you're in favor of it or not. We're not telling anybody to support the project or to be against the project. We simply want everyone to have the opportunity to get their questions answered.
Another public meeting about the proposed facility will be held by the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality on April 2nd. The agency will be taking comments from the public during that time. And a Kansas House bill could eliminate affordable housing tax credits. As KOAM's Melissa Alexis shows us, these credits contribute to the building of various homes across Kansas and in the city of Pittsburgh.
This would have a huge effect.
It's a bill proposed by Sean Tarwater, a member of the Kansas House of Representatives. The bill, if it becomes a law, would eliminate tax credit that's used to build affordable homes throughout the state of Kansas. Representative Tarwater believes the program is too costly. The housing director for the city of Pittsburgh, Kim Froman, says if it becomes a law, it would negatively impact Pittsburgh.
Be individuals that might be on waiting lists or in those housing units. And if we don't create more units and more opportunity, those individuals could become homeless.
Thousands of affordable homes throughout the state of Kansas have been built through this tax credit. The assistant director of housing for the city of Pittsburgh says affordable homes in Pittsburgh have also been built through this tax credit.
A critical need for affordable housing in Pittsburgh. So with the loss of these type of tax credits, I think it will give the city a burden, likely heighten the difficulty of meeting that demand.
Froman says there are 431 affordable housing units in Pittsburgh that came about through this tax credit, including Pittsburgh Highlands, Sycamore Village, Pittsburgh Seniors, Stillwell Apartments, and more. The city of Pittsburgh even has upcoming projects in the works that wouldn't have been possible without this tax credit.
Remington Square, Pittsburgh Seniors, Sycamore Village. That would be a lot of people that wouldn't have a place if those projects didn't come to fruition.
Both Froman and Keener say eliminating this could potentially increase homelessness in Pittsburgh.
Because it's going to rise the prices of other housing up, I feel. So it's going to make units not affordable. So those individuals may have to move out. It may make waiting lists longer than they already are.
A city standpoint, and also just being, a citizen of this community and seeing the need and driving around and feeling it in our community, to lose this would be really detrimental. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The Kansas House approved the bill. It's now in the Senate. And officials announced a new source of drinking water for part of Missouri. Storage space in Stockton Lake will now be reallocated to provide drinking water to communities throughout southwest Missouri. Part of the reallocation will also include an industrial water supply. A spokesperson for Southwest Missouri Water says the project will provide 38 million gallons daily with no major impact on the lake. And Neosho residents learned about Proposition A last night at an open house hosted by the Neosho Next Committee and the Chamber of Commerce. Voting yes for Prop A will allow for a use tax to help pay for a new aquatic center, pickleball courts, and an inclusive playground and golf facility upgrades.
We have several of these open houses coming. So basically over the next few weeks, we're doing all we can to educate the community on what projects the Proposition A, the use tax funds, will be used for, answer questions, and hopefully have people as well informed as possible for the election.
The use tax would be a 3% local sales tax applied to online purchases. Voters will decide the future of Prop A on April 8th. And yesterday marked 5 years since the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, it was the beginning of a wave of illness that took millions of lives worldwide. It also forced our local businesses and schools to make a lot of changes.
Not all changes that came about through the pandemic were bad. I was up here at the high school at the time as principal, and it forced us to think about some things differently. There's no real policies or anything that we've changed that have lasted over time, but practices and the way that we do things inside our buildings are different, and in a lot of ways, in positive ways, because of the forced changes that we had to go through as a district.
Just one of many signs the pandemic has lifted. The federal government is no longer accepting orders for free COVID-19 tests. Well, Diamond Days are headed to southeast Kansas. Those details coming up. And later, we're making crispy buttermilk onion rings in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, it's a new ball game in Fort Scott for summer baseball. Fort Scott is officially joining the Mid-America Baseball League for the 2026 season. The announcement was made yesterday. Home games are set to be displayed at the La Roche Baseball Complex. Now, as for the team's name, that's to be determined with the help of public contest that started yesterday. Well, Fort Scott isn't the only place with big baseball news. The city of Carthage celebrated the grand opening of its long-awaited baseball field with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Chief videographer Ty Parks attended the opening and brings us the details.
This has been a project that has spanned a few years now. We're so thankful for the community for their continued support of our program, and we're excited to unveil this site for the community. We tell our players all the time, and they believe this, we have the best facilities in the state because they're ours. You know, when you go back and think about the history of the Carthage baseball program, Carl Luton has been a great site for us, but we're excited to be on campus and excited to make more memories here. It's fit around 250 to 300 people. We have some temporary bleachers set up, and then there's also some access for people to bring lawn chairs and do different things. So we're excited to see how many people it can fit. because our community has just given us so much support, we're excited to play for them. The best things that I've seen so far is just watching our high school kids walk out of the building and come straight to practice. It's been a huge benefit for our practice time, and just from transportation logistics, when you talk to our bus people and everything, not having to get our kids from the high school to across town, it's been a relief for everyone.
A privilege. We're all very grateful for everything that people have done, whether it's the builders building it or the ones that donated to help make it happen. We're just very grateful and excited for the season. Our morale is definitely up. We know that there's something to prove. Coming off a good season last year, we definitely want to make that better, and we want to just show everybody that we're not just okay with winning, we want to do more.
For more information on the stadium, you can visit our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And still to come on KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
If you like your onion rings to crunch a bunch, grab your appetite and a cold drink and join us right here in the test kitchen.
Now we've got gusty winds, thunderstorm chances, and a lunar eclipse to talk about. All of that when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at Noon. Got a lot of things happening over the next 48 hours or so. Some good, some we want to keep an eye on. We're going to start, though, with a look outside downtown Pittsburgh. And if you look now, we are working as slowly but surely from the south, getting clouds moving into the area. So we will eventually begin to go mostly cloudy across the area. So I wanted to talk about the lunar eclipse, which I'm just going to actually just walk right across. So this is set for Friday morning at 12:09. The partial eclipse begins. By about 1:30, we get the total eclipse beginning, reaching its peak just before 2. Around 2:30, the total eclipse will end, and then the partial eclipse will end by 3:47 Friday morning. So if you're up late, or you're an early riser, or you just really want to see this, great viewing because the skies are going to be clear. It's going to be a bit breezy, but it is going to be mild. Could even be still into the low 60s as this eclipse takes place. If you miss it, your next opportunity is March 3rd of next year. So let's take a look at the future track. As we said, those clouds will continue to increase. By 2, we're looking at quite a few more out there, and we'll start to go mostly cloudy to just straight up cloudy around the area. Now, there's those thunderstorm chances. Ignore all this splotchy stuff here. Late this evening, so that's one thing that's changed from this morning. Instead of a little earlier in the evening, it looks like later this evening, between 9 and midnight, we could get a couple of showers or thunderstorms south of I-44. Now, again, none of that's expected to be severe, but you could get a rumble of thunder, maybe some rain out there as this low that's off to our south will pass by. Now, it's going to bring a severe threat to the south, but it will not impact us directly, which is good. What we are watching is going to be Friday. Thursday looks to be great. Another very warm day, clear skies, just absolutely May-like. And that's another reason we want to watch Friday very closely. There have been some changes, which, again, it's going to change 100 more times, so we're not going to worry about that yet. We are going to worry about what we do know, and we are looking at the potential for damaging wind gusts today. Look at those wind arrows rolling through. We're talking wind gusts that could be 40, 60 miles an hour, and in some cases, some data suggests, especially in the southeastern portion of our area, we could see wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour. So we're talking the potential for power outages, downed tree limbs, and of course, if you're driving a high-profile vehicle, going to be very dangerous conditions to be driving in. Now, what we're looking at is we've got what will very likely be the first significant severe weather event of the season off to our east as we go into Friday. However, some of it could initiate in our area. Now, right now, it's looking as though we could get a couple of stronger storms on the Missouri side, and then those will fire up in the evening and move out of here quickly. But there is some data that suggests it might start a little earlier, a little further west, but we're not to that point yet. What we do see at this time that's a little more consistent is these storms developing late evening in the eastern portion of our area, but then they're out of here quick. So a strong storm or two would be possible. So here's, again, just this evening along and south of I-44, maybe a thunderstorm or two. And then here's that low risk. You see how it's very clipped into our area because, again, it could fire up in the far eastern edges and then roll on out of here pretty quickly and unfortunately lead to a, again, potentially significant severe weather event for our friends to the east. So we'll watch that very carefully out there. Again, warm tomorrow, upper 70s, low 80s, mild on Friday, mid 70s. Now, this system will bring our temperatures down to normal into the weekend, so it's going to feel colder, but it's where we should be. We'll go back to the 70s for next Monday and Tuesday, but really Friday's something we definitely want to keep an eye on. Storms aside, that wind is going to be serious.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, stick around. We're making crispy buttermilk onion rings in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard's making crispy buttermilk onion rings in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
When it comes to onion rings, it seems that they're either really good or really bad, but never in between. Well, since I'm an onion ring lover, we set out to come up with a recipe that's not just really good, but one that's exceptional, especially if you love them crispy crunchy. We started by peeling 3 to 4 large Spanish onions and cutting them into thick slices. I would say about 1/3 of an inch thick. After separating them into rings, we coat them with buttermilk and let them soak. Next, we mix together our batter, which is simply some flour, baking powder, salt, and a little cayenne pepper. To that, we add vegetable oil, a splash of lemon juice, an egg, and a bit of water. Now we shake the excess buttermilk off each onion ring and dip it into the batter before carefully placing it into some hot oil. The oil should be hot but not smoking. That way it's hot enough to cook them, but not so hot that they burn. Once they're golden on both sides, we take them out and let them drain on some paper towels. This way they won't be too greasy. And that's all there is to it. So if you like an onion ring that has lots of flavor and is so crunchy it can be heard across the room, you're gonna love these. I really do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our crispy buttermilk onion rings, which in my opinion are a hands down winner. I'm Howard of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a crunchy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Now let's take a look at the 4-state market prices.
Again, isolated shower or storm possible south of I-44 late this evening. No severe weather expected. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, warm, clear and warm on Thursday. And then the dangerous, potentially damaging wind gusts on Friday, anywhere 40, 60, maybe even up to 70 mile an hour. And then we'll watch that possibility of some thunderstorms later in the afternoon Friday.
All right, Chris, thanks. So Darby to our first later on.
At 5 today, saunas have been mainstays at gyms for decades, but the spaces are getting a new attention for possible health benefits. We're going to take a look. Plus, Carthage schools could be adding funding to their performing arts program. That's causing a divide among parents in the school district. And we'll look at a tax proposition for the Seneca Fire Department that will be on the April 8th ballot. Hope you'll join us for those stories. A whole lot more, of course. It's coming up today, KOAM News at 5.
All right, Dell, thanks. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5. Until then, have a great rest of your day.